Hey everybody, it's your girl Denise back with Keto with Denise, and you know we're still at it in the kitchen about to make what I call the blasting bacon chicken ranch casserole. For those of you that like to be in the kitchen as, least as you can, this is one of those meals that can stretch you through the week. It's going to make 8 portions. And by the way, 26 grams of fat and only 4 net carbs. So let's take a look at what's included. So I've got chicken that I've already cooked. I cubed it or made chunks out of it. You want to make sure you don't overcook it because you don't want to dry your chicken out. So just make sure that the chicken cooks for probably about 8 minutes, maybe 4 minutes on one side, 4 minutes on the other side, because it's going to cook some more in the oven. And if your chunks are a little bigger than what you want them, just cut them up a little bit before you mix everything together. Okay, I've got 5 slices of bacon. I don't eat pork, so this is beef bacon. I know people say, is there such a thing as beef bacon? Yes, it is, and I like it. So this is 5 slices, makes for good flavor. So I'm going to sprinkle some of this in the mixture, and then I'm going to save some to top it as well. I've got ½ cup of chopped red onions or diced red onions and ½ cup of portabella mushrooms and 2 garlic cloves. By the way, I'm going to cook this. Sometimes you can just mix it all and let it cook in the oven. I like to get that flavor in the mushrooms and bring it out into my dish. So I'm just going to cook these in a skillet with a little bit of butter or even use the grease from the bacon. That's what I cook the chicken in, and a little bit more. I'll just go ahead and cook these things in too, so it doesn't add any additional fat if you don't want it or don't need it. But if you do decide to cook it in butter, just track the fat for that tablespoon of butter or however much you use. Okay, so we have that, and then we have 3/4 cups of ranch dressing. This is one of the keto friendly ingredients that we can have. I have a cup of mozzarella, shredded mozzarella in this case, and I shredded a cup of my mild cheddar cheese. This is white cheddar cheese. And then I've got about 4 to 5 cups of spinach. Now you can go as many cups as you like. Why? Because this is a veggie. We want more veggies. And because by the time you cook off spinach, it dwindles down a bit. But in this case, I'm going to put the raw spinach in the ingredient because it won't take long to cook the spinach once it's in the oven. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. Make sure you've got all your ingredients set. And I'm going to just cook off my ingredients. I suggest you do that too to bring more flavor into it. And we'll come back and mix it all together and put it in our casserole. Okay? Good deal. Okay, everybody, you should have already cooked off your onions, mushrooms, and your garlic for about 4 minutes. Doesn't take long. You just want to make sure that you get a little softer consistency on your onions and your mushrooms. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that your chicken that you're starting with, I started with the chicken tenders already cut and prepared. So I used about 8 or 9 of the chicken tenders that you buy already, not already cooked, but already portioned out. Or you could have gotten 2 chicken breasts and sliced those up yourself and diced them accordingly. Okay, I've set my oven to 375 degrees because that's what I'm going to bake my casserole in. So the rest of it is pretty easy. I'm going to start mixing everything together because that's what's going to happen when I bake it. I'm not going to use all of the bacon. I am going to use some of it though because I want to get it into the mixture. So I'll take about half of it and put in. I'm going to use all of the ranch dressing. That's going to give me that liquidy consistency. And I'm going to take half of the cheese and mix it as well. So now that I've gotten all of those ingredients, I'm just going to start folding everything in, and that's going to make for a bigger bowl in some cases because you want to get your spinach mixed in there, and then I'll put the cheese in just a minute. Oops, like that. See that mistake? Food will start running off the table now. If I wasn't recording, I would have eaten that right off the table. But I know you're watching, so I'm trying to be cool about it. All right, so let's just keep folding in our greens because I do want a lot of spinach in this. Remember, we get our veggies in 7 to 10 cups of veggies a day. This is a good way to get it in because I'm starting here. Spinach will dwindle down on you. So I'm starting with the 6 cups of spinach right here. Now, I may not use it all, but this is a good way to start it. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some cheese in this, and I'm going to pour it off in just a minute so that at least I get to bake it all together. So I'm just going to use half of this. This is a cup, remember? So I'm just taking a half of it and I'll stir it in, and the half of the shredded as well. And then I'll top it. Before I put it in the oven, I'll top it with what's remaining. Cheese and bacon will go in. I know it looks like, wow, can you get anything else in there? Yeah, because remember, the spinach is going to give off a little water when it cooks, so it will get a little watery by the time we're done. So it looks a little thick right now, but that's quite all right, because cheese is going to melt. That's going to give it some liquidy consistency. So the whole idea is that I've got this mixed in pretty good. So I'm going to take a 9-inch casserole dish like this, and I'm just going to start pouring and just pour everything in it. I've already mixed it, and this is a big enough dish for me to kind of just smooth it out a little bit, and I can top some more greens in it. You may only need about 4 cups of spinach, but I like a lot of spinach. So I went a little heavier on the spinach side of things. So let me just bring this forward so you can see it. Notice how it's all coming together now, and I've got the spinach mixed in a little bit. I'm going to top it with some more spinach because this is my meal. This is one meal, a good 26 grams of fat, only 4 carbs, net carbs rather, in it, because I got some good fiber going too. Instead of 7 total, it's going to be 4 net. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more of my spinach, and this is the layer that I'm creating. So you'll have meat underneath, vegetable on top, and then you'll have the cheese and the bacon over that. So always layer with your vegetable, meat underneath, and then I'm going to take my cheese and just sprinkle now. So it's going to set in almost like a pizza, but remember, this is a casserole. So I'm going to start with the mozzarella cheese. It's a little easier to spread, and you're just sprinkling it on top to make sure you've got some coverage there for your spinach. And this is going to cook in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. I like to make sure that everything is cooked all the way through. Remember, you've already cooked the chicken and you've already cooked the bacon, so no big deal with those things cooking through, but I like to just make sure it's all in there. When you're using fresh cheese like I'm using, and see how it shreds and it doesn't really separate, it clumps. That's why it's better to use block cheese than shredded. Notice how easy it was to spread the shredded mozzarella. Why? Because it's got an ingredient in it that keeps it from clumping like this. So I use it sometimes. I use shredded cheese sometimes, but it really is better to use your block cheeses whenever you're doing that. So just make sure you've got an even flow of cheese. I'm using everything. I want every gram of fat to help my body burn this fat. And then I'm just going to take the rest of the bacon and sprinkle on top. Again, you're going to bake this in the oven at 375, and you're going to bake it for about 15-20 minutes. I kind of watch it at the 15-minute mark. If you've got you want to use a timer, or you just want to stand guard, or use Alexa and tell her to set an alarm for 15 minutes. Alexa, set the alarm for 15 minutes. And I'll use this a little bit later. See, Alexa doesn't even listen to me. So we'll come back and we're going to see how this turns out in just a few minutes. Okay, so just got this pretty girl out of the oven, and this blasting bacon chicken ranch casserole is going to be on. Look at it. You see that it's already cooked through and still piping hot because it's fresh out of the oven. This is, again, 8 really generous sized portions. So if you were to cut it like you're doing, let's say lasagna or something, you'll see that you'll get the 4 squares, and you can have this throughout the week, everybody. Okay, so just serve it up just like it is. You'll get a little juice run off there, no big deal. That's why I'm using this separated spoon. But the most important thing, you got a lot of veggies in it. You got a good amount of protein. Remember, this is easy breezy, keto home style. Bake it for the week, get in the kitchen 1 or 2 times, and you're done, and you've got meals really You can look at it 4 days or 8 days, however way you want to treat it. All right? Thanks for watching. Hi, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And by the way, click the bell too so that you'll be notified when there's new content like this. Thank you again for watching.